Hi guys, it's your girl Ify. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'll be discussing the major things you need to do if you're planning to come to Canada, especially this period or even maybe next year or thereabouts. So I want you to watch this video to the end. It will really guide you, because some of the things I'm about to say are some things that I never knew, but I learned in a hard way when I came to this Canada. Number one on my list is budget for a car. Okay, I know all fingers are not equal, okay, but if you're planning to immigrate, there are some basic necessity that you need to do before you make that move. Like I always say, having a car here is not a luxury. It is not. It is something that you need, especially if you have kids. I have been there. When I came into this Canada, I used bus for a while, and also I usually use bus when I'm going to work. And I was also fortunate that my child's school provided the school bus. But I knew what I went through when I was using the bus. Number one, if you're using the bus, place that you're supposed to use like 15 minutes or 10 minutes drive with a car, bus can take up to 1 hour plus. That is number one. Secondly, the bus timing is so wrong. Sometimes Google Map will tell you that the bus will arrive in 10 minutes. Now, the bus can take up to like 30 minutes, because currently, I don't know if it's even currently, it started during the COVID, so many bus drivers quit, of course, because people were not going out during the COVID. So there are lots of buses, but there are no drivers. So sometimes when the Google Map says 10 minutes, you discover that the bus will not come. It's the second bus that will take about 20 to 30 minutes that will come. Now imagine you standing under the cold. The bus station is not insulated in the sense that there is no heat or anything, meaning you'll be under the cold during the winter, standing as low as -20, -15, even as -30. So you can imagine if you have children. If, for example, you want to go and drop your children off to school, if your school did not provide a school bus for the child, you and your child will be under the cold waiting for the bus. So having car is not something that is a luxury, it's something that you need to have. That will save you a whole lot of stress and cold. In fact, that should be your number one priority on your list, because Canada is extremely very cold. I made a post about a woman that was bitterly crying how she stood under the weather for up to like 10 minutes, and she said she could not even feel her palms. Now you can imagine, and this is just fall, so you can imagine when real winter comes, that's like January, February time, when the cold will be like -20, -25, -30, depending on where you are. I'm talking about Ontario, or if you're going to Saskatchewan, they can experience -45. So how can you, that's like below freezing point. So how can you stay under that weather? There are white people will say, okay, Canadians, like some comments say Canadians are always taking bus and all that. Well, we Africans, our weather is different, so we are not used to it. So if you come around during the winter or during the fall, when the weather is really cold, as in extremely cold, with kids, oh my God, there are so many people that are literally crying in the bus station. I helped a woman recently because I saw her with kids going to school. No bus. The bus is not coming. I had to stop to pick her up. I was going to work when I saw her. So guys, budget for a car, that should be your priority list. There are some cars you can get a good car as low as 6,000, 5,000, 10,000. I'm not saying you should do financing, because that one is not really a good idea, that you're coming into the country and you're doing financing. That's not a good idea. There are some cars you will see as low as 7,000, within the range of 5,000 to 10,000. Used car, you can start from there. So let it be in your budget. Don't see car as a luxury. It's not a luxury here, especially when you have kids. Number 2 on my list, learn how to use Google Map. Oh my God. This is one thing that I was never good at. It's just that I'm fortunate that I was a fast learner. I was able to browse and ask some people, and I was fast to learning how to use Google Map. When I came into Canada, I was using bus. I used bus up to like 2 months before I got my own car. Now, Google Map tells you where you are going. If you don't know how to use Google Map, it's a major problem. Now, it's not about just using bus, because if you eventually have a car, you will still use that Google Map, because Canada is very big. Canada is very big. Anywhere you're going, even the real Canadians here, they still use Google Map, plug it on their car, on their dashboard to know where they are going. So if you don't know how to use Google Map, you are on a long thing, honestly. Then for those that will be using bus, bus station is using bus is another major thing. Now, if you don't know how to use Google Map, you will not know the direction you have to stay, because buses, they have different numbers, and some of them have same number going to different direction. One may be going to west, one may be going to east. So with your Google Map, you will know where to stay. So if you don't know how to use Google Map, you will see yourself missing around. Like me, I will put a video there, how you would see I was moving around to like tracing with the Google Map, where am I supposed to stay? I can't count the number of times I missed the bus, guys. So you have to learn how to use Google Map before coming to Canada. In fact, without Google Map, that means you just want to stay in the house, going nowhere, because eventually you will need it. It's something that you will need. Without it, there is no way you can move. Like I said earlier, even the real Canadians, they use Google Map. They put the phone on the dashboard to tell them this is where you are going. So guys, learn how to use Google Maps, okay? Number 3 on my list is the type of clothes you can come with when you're coming to Canada. In my YouTube, before I came into Canada, I watched so many YouTube videos that discouraged people from bringing clothes. In fact, that was the greatest mistake I made. If you're coming to Canada, please bring your clothes. Bring your clothes, because there is winter, there is summer, and even during the winter, you can use your summer clothes to layer up. Some people say don't bring clothes. When you put the summer clothes will not hold it will not hold the cold here. Yes, it will not hold the cold, but you can use it to layer up. And moreover, the clothes here are very, very expensive, honestly, especially if you've not started earning in their currency. You can imagine converting Naira to Canadian dollars just to buy clothes. Okay, so bring your clothes, the one you have, bring it down, whether it's summer or anything, just bring it down. And if you're coming during the winter, you can buy just 1 or 2 winter jackets, because it's usually bulky, so that it will not occupy too much space. The winter jacket they sell in Lagos might not really hold the cold here. So all you need to do is just buy 1 or 2 that you use to land. Then when you come here, you can buy winter jackets. But budget enough for it, because gold winter jackets can go as high as $200. If you want to get the ones that is -30 or -35 that can resist the cold of -30 or -35, we go around that price. Okay, so bring your clothes when coming. Don't abandon all your clothes. Bring them. When it's getting, you can even wear it. Like now, see, my clothes is very light because I'm in the house. Heat is on. Is when you go outside, you now wear layers upon layers upon layers of clothes. So those clothes that you're bringing from where you're coming from, you will wear them, then you can wear the additional ones on top. So you use it to layer on. Please do not leave your clothes back home. Bring your clothes so that you'll not be converting too much from naira to Canadian dollars just to buy clothes. Some clothes can be as high as $70, $100 for a male dress. So how many will you be able to buy? So bring those tops, especially tops, leggings. If you have leggings, you bring them, because when you're putting on maybe a jean trouser, you can put on leggings first, up to like 2 or even 3 leggings, then before you wear your jean trouser. Then for the top, all those tops that you have, you can wear up to like 4 or 5, then before you wear the normal clothes, and then put on your winter jacket. You must layer up. So if you're not bringing your clothes, it means you have to start buying new things afresh, and you converting naira to Canadian dollars. You know how it is. So my dear, bring your clothes, okay? The next on my list is foodstuff. Now, when I was coming, trust me, I brought enough foodstuff, including red oil and the rest of them. I brought melon, egusi, ogbono, fish. I brought enough foodstuff. And the reason for that is I didn't want to start converting my Nigerian currency to Canadian currency for me to start buying foodstuff here. So I brought enough that can serve me up to like 5 to 6 months. I think it even served me up to like 8 months. Okay, so bring enough foodstuff that can serve you. Then my advice is, while you are eating those foodstuff, be introducing the normal Canadian food. Like, look for alternative. For example, I can't remember the last time I bought garri. Why? I discovered that I can use Quaker oats to make swallow, and then I can equally use unripe plantain and convert it to swallow. The Quaker oat here is far cheaper when compared to garri in African stores. So there are so many things you can do. And another thing, my beans is almost finishing now. What I do is, when I want to make moi moi, I don't use beans, I use lentils, and it comes out exactly like you're using beans. So always look for alternatives so that you will avoid you going to African store. Please, people that have African stores, don't come for me. At least it will help you to save enough money when you buy the regular food that people eat here, rather than relying on African stores. Then as for meat, there is this group I belong to. They usually share meat, like 10 to 15 people will come together, contribute, and it's far cheaper like that compared to when you go to the normal African store to get your meat. So I belong to the group. 10 or 15 people will come together, contribute, and then we order either a big cow or a big goat or a fowl, chicken. So that's how we do for me too, and it's more economical. When we do that, it takes me a month for me to get to buy another meat. So for the food stuff, always come as much as you can. You have 23 kg depending on the flight you're entering. Put your food stuff there, bring enough, as much as you can. Before it finishes, you'll be introducing other type of like alternative that will replace it, except you want to be ordering, because people or shipping from Nigeria down to Canada when your own eventually finish. Me, I don't see myself doing it, because I've actually seen lots of alternatives to some of the things I bought. Like I told you initially, lentils, I use that for moi moi. Then the normal beans, I'm not really a fan of beans. I usually cook it because of my son protein, right? So I just cook little quantity and I'm okay. So look for those alternative things that can always replace it. There are lots of things that you can search out for in the normal Canadian store, and make it like this regular habit. Introduce it to your children, especially if you have kids. The more you introduce, the better, because if for example you brought like a powdered milk, Nigerian milk is different from the Canadian type of milk here. So before my milk eventually finished, or rather not my milk, the milk I brought from Nigeria, before it finished, I was already buying the normal Canadian milk that they have here. And trust me, my son is already used to it. So I don't buy milk anymore. We use the one that is here in Canada. So just try to be introducing those food, especially if you have kids. You know, some kids can be so picky. Like my son, trust me, he's so picky when it comes to food. But gradually he's adjusting, he's adapting. He's seeing other children in his school eating those kind of food. Sometimes he will make a request. I was like, Mommy, can you give me this? Like for example, pizza. My son doesn't eat pizza ordinarily, right from Nigeria. But suddenly he's now eating pizza. So many things that he eats, I'll be like, where did you learn this from? So those things, you know, children can pick up habits from school. So at least I'm glad that he's picking up the positive habit, right? So they will adjust. Just introduce them and let them know that this is Canada. All those Nigerian food that you used to eat, we are no longer in Nigeria. Or do you want us to go back to Nigeria? That is how I used to get my son, because my son doesn't want to go back to Nigeria. So guys, always introduce the normal milk, the normal food that they have in Canada. Don't always be 100% dependent on African stuff, because they will not outgrow it if you make them believe that there is an alternative, which is African stuff, that we can get those things. That means they will not outgrow those African type of food. Okay, so make them adjust to the Canadian type of food, and trust me, they will adjust. When I say my son was a picky eater, I mean it, but now he's like adjusting like 80% already. So some of the African food that I bought is almost finished, but then I'm not even worried, because we are already eating the Canadian type of food. Okay, the next on my list, learn how to make your hair. Yes, so except you want to carry low cuts. You see this hair? I made it myself. Learn how to braid. If you are the type that carries braiding and all that, because trust me, other than the money, if you start working, you might not even have the time to go to that salon to start braiding. Plus, it's very, very expensive. Learn how to braid. You can learn how to make normal weaving. When you weave, then you can put on wig. Okay, then you can also learn how to do ponytail. There are some ponytail and this thing that I brought, that once I pack my hair into ponytail, I just chuck it there and the hair is good. Learn how to make your hair. And if you have children that are male, you can equally tell their dad, or you can learn how to cut their hair. Okay, so learn it. Is a skill that is very, very good. Not just hair making, there are some additional little things that you need to know how to do if you're planning to come to Canada. For example, even fixing of bed, that one you can't learn it in Nigeria or where you are, but when you come here, you have to let your hand be skillful in things. If you depend solely on people helping you to do this, come and do this, you'll be spending too much money. Honestly, you'll be spending lots of money. So prepare your mind that majority of the things you'll be doing here is you'll be doing it yourself. DIY. Do it yourself. Like braiding of hair. If you buy a bed, you'll be the one to fix the bed. In fact, so many things. If your socket should spoil, that one is those ones. I even learned it back then in university days. So even before me immigrating to Canada, there are so many things I have learned. Not like I knew that I was coming to Canada, but I just enjoy doing things with my hands. So, and it's really, really helping me a lot. So, ladies, learn how to braid. Make your hair, not just braiding, even though it's just simple type of weaving, so that you can bring your wigs. Yes, that's another thing. Bring your wigs. bring attach, you can bring wool. If you've noticed, this is a wool that I used to make this twisting. Bring enough wool. Then bring ponytails. There's puff, there's the longer type of ponytail. Bring them. Then bring enough hair cream and possibly gel. Like me, I don't really use this gel a lot. I don't do that. So if you are the type that like using gel on your ponytail, no wahala, bring gel, so that once you just pack your hair, you chook it, you look nice and presentable. Okay, the next on my list, guys, this one is not really something that is like you can learn it. Research, networking is the thing that will keep you going in this Canada, except you want to lose out in so many benefits. If you don't know how to make research, that's why I encourage people to, like, if they are planning to immigrate, avoid agents. Do the research yourself, because if you don't know how to carry that research, if you come down to Canada, it will be so difficult for you, trust me. If you don't know how to make research and you're so you don't know anything about carrying out research on your own, you're so lazy to carry out research, you're always dependent on people's information, my dear, you will lose out greatly, because there are so many people sharing things online that if you don't make your own research, you might be following the wrong path, thinking that you're following the right path. So it's good to make research, especially here in Canada. Nobody will tell you this, do this. When you start working, they expect you to know things. Nobody have that time to start carrying you through from this to this. It's research that will guide you. Okay, without research, you go nowhere. Like you will be stuck, you will be confused, and nobody have that time to start breastfeeding you on what to do and what not to do. If, for example, you break laws, they will tell you in their website, it stated, do not do this. Or if you want to acquire driver's license, it's still research. If you start driving, it's still research you will do to know the laws guiding driving. Because if you make a pin error, ignorance is not an excuse. So my dear, for you to survive in this country, be sure that you know how to make research. Research is key. There are some people, they are just so, like, will I say, lazy when it comes to researching. Okay, so learn how to make research. When you see something online that you're not sure about, but you can still go to Google research, and then you can go to Canada website and also make that research. So research, guys, is something that is very good. If you don't make research, you'll be losing out of benefits, especially if you're coming in. There are so many new to Canada. There are so many benefits that newcomers are entitled to. So if you don't know all those benefits, before you know, you are no more qualified for those benefits. Okay, so make proper research. Learn how to make proper research if you're planning to come to Canada, or have it at the back of your mind that as you're coming to Canada, there are so many things you need to do, which include researching. The next thing you need to do is for you to register for pre-arrival services. Some people, they don't use this at all. When you get your confirmation of permanent residence, when you read that, there is IRCC already put it there. So many people don't read that confirmation of permanent residence, and when they do, even when they do, they will just read it. So they don't take note of the advantage of that pre-arrival services. Now, when you get that confirmation of permanent residence, you go to Canada website, or there is a link there. Go to Google Chrome, type in that link to search for pre-arrival services. Those services are very good. It's free of charge. IRCC already paid for them. So the essence of that pre-arrival services is to let you in about everything about Canada, all the way from booking tickets, Canada way of life, employment, helping you to optimize your LinkedIn profile. In fact, after the pre-arrival services, they will guide you through till you land in Canada. And once you land in Canada, they will transfer you to post-arrival services. They will make sure that accommodation, you're settled, like everything that will help you to settle fully in Canada. That is what they do. There are so many of them. They have Access Employment. They have is it CEC something? In fact, there are up to like 7 to 10 of them agencies. These are agencies that are already being paid by IRCC. So it's just left for you to search and check which one you want to use. Once you get your confirmation of permanent resident, because if you are registering for any of them, they will tell you to upload or submit your confirmation of permanent residence, a document that shows that your application has been approved. So guys, utilize these services. They will, in fact, when they are putting you through, sometimes they organize Zoom meeting with you. They will put you through, help you in your resume writing, anything that is bothering you. They will ask you the experiences you've had so far. They will help you in your resume writing, and then they will ask you to give them your LinkedIn LinkedIn profile, the link, so that they will see how your LinkedIn is. And you know, employment here, 90% of the employers always go back to your LinkedIn profile. So if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, I don't know what is happening. By now, you're supposed to have a LinkedIn profile. So they will help you to optimize it, make sure the kind of picture you're supposed to put there, the headlines, what you're supposed to write there. So they will guide you. They will guide you through. There are some people, I learned that there are some pre-arrival services that even give some of their will I say people that is working, or rather not people that is working, people that use them, went as far as giving them a laptop. They even give them some clothes. So those are IRCC has already made provision. They pay them for all these services. So if you're not utilizing them, that means you're doing yourself no good. They are just being paid and you're not using them. So many people don't use them, and so many people don't know about it. So if you've already gotten your confirmation of permanent resident, or your application has been approved, even though you've not gotten you've submitted your passport and it's yet to be back, once you see your application has been approved, go and sign up for pre-arrival services, because the program can take as long as 4 months. So if you have barely 1 month, you might not utilize it fully. The pre-arrival service I used was Access Employment and one other one. They guided me everything. They will be sending you materials as well as talking to you everything that I needed to know about Canada. As well, even when I've already made those research, I needed more information as well. So they will guide you everything, how to travel, how to come down, what you need to know. Like they will literally hold your hands till you come down to this Canada. Up till now, they still ask me if I've gotten my employment or if I'm employed already. They are still following up. Okay, so utilize that pre-arrival services. It's very, very good and important. Guys, these are the major things that I think should guide you if you're coming to Canada. Okay, those are the major things. If there are some other things that you need me to discuss, you can put it in the comment section. Then this might be for the next video that I will upload. There are some people that made mention of me telling them the routes that they can use to immigrate to Canada, because of the last video I uploaded on my TikTok page about how somebody came in last month as a permanent resident. So I got lots of DM asking me to tell them the kind of route that they can use. So in my next video, I'll be showing you guys right from Canada website how to check the best routes that is suitable for you to immigrate to Canada. So watch out for my next video. Okay guys, bye for now.